speakers and also the upcoming speakers after me for attending this important event. Let me start my presentation by first highlighting about what CESRIC is. CESRIC is a subsidiary of Organization of Islamic Cooperation. It's a research center based in Ankara. And it has three mandates. One is to data collection and dissemination, training and capacity building, economic and social development and evaluation. And also, it has three important technical departments. These departments include statistics and information, training, and research department. And in statistics department, we have a database for all the for all our member countries in OIC, and this helps our researchers in around the world, also in OIC member countries, to carry up their research. And this research, these indicators, they are categorized into 27 categories, and these categories have in total 1,852 indicators. And related to this, we also have a specific category which is only for Islamic economics and finance. And our researchers basically also access this database for their research purposes. And going forward, in training department, we organize a lot of training activities based on few modalities that includes workshop trainings and study visits within our member countries. And these are other important areas of our training. We have 24 specific sectoral areas where we organize these trainings. And coming to research department, we publish background research reports for OIC ministerial meetings, which are held, others are yearly, others are after every 2 years. So based on our research reports, the ministerial meetings, they take some policy recommendations for actions for our member countries. And let me also highlight small about OIC member countries. What are the OIC member countries? We are 58 member state organization, which is the second largest international organization after United Nations in the world. And our countries are divided into 4 continents, that's Africa, Asia, and Latin America, plus Europe. But most of the countries are, as you can see, they are in sub-Saharan Africa, and others followed by Europe and Central Asia. Also MENA, we have 19 member countries. And in South Asia, East Asia, and Latin America, we have 2, Suriname and Guyana. And allow me to talk of this. Why do we talk of OIC? These 57 member countries, they have a potential and they have a lot of resources. What are these resources? First of all, we are a quarter of a global population. That's we account. We are 20 billion population in the world. As we can see, the current projection of the global population is around 8 billion. So of the 8 billion, we account for a quarter of it. That's around 25%. And what are the importance of our population in the global chain? Currently, OIC population, around half of it is below 24 years. So it means as other developed countries are going out with issues related to aging population, in OIC member countries we have strong youthful population which can replenish our labor market. And also to go further, I would like to mention that we have 65% of a global proven oil reserves. These are basically in 5 OIC member countries: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait. In Africa, we have also in Nigeria. And also gas reserves, we have 58% of global gas reserves are in OIC member countries. And to go further, we also have a lot of agricultural land, around 1.4 trillion of hectares of OIC member countries. They have arable land, and this accounts for around 29.5% of the global total arable land. And also, when it comes, we have talked a lot of about Islamic finance and economics. As you can see, only top 10 OIS member countries, they account for 95% of the global Islamic finance assets. So we have a great potential to develop our economies when it comes using Islamic economics and finance. And this is a very good potential for us at the moment. Because as we could see previously, there was a speaker from Japan, a Christian, a non-OIS member country, and also a Muslim majority country. They are trying to come up with the idea of using Islamic economics because it is a human-friendly source of financing businesses in the world at the moment. So allow me to talk also of our strategic trading regions. While we are trading in merchandise, we use a lot of water transport. And while using water transport, there are some points called maritime chokes. And these are narrow passages where ships they pass with goods. And we, as OIS member countries, we have advantage over this. In the world, we only have 8 maritime choke points, and 6 of them are in OIS member countries. So this one here gives for us a leverage to control global trade. For instance, you can look at the Istanbul, this Turkey Strait. Most of the goods coming from Russia, they pass through Turkey, and Turkey has autonomous over controlling this strait here, and Straits of Malacca, and Gibraltar, and Suez Canal, along others. So these are under control of OIS member countries. In OIS member countries, we have advantage when it comes to international trade using water transport. So before going further, please allow me now go to the major issue. This is the OIC economic outlook. The OIC economic outlook, we prepared this report highlighting some of the major macro indicators of OIS member countries to reflect at least what is happening in OIS member countries. And this report is basically used by a Council of Foreign Ministers of OIS member countries when they sit yearly, and the report helps them to identify the deficit in OIS member countries and also to improve on their policy making at intra-OIS level, because each minister always comes with their country-specific issues. And when they look at this report, by this report, we'll try to bring to them on, or at IC level, this is an intergovernmental organization. At our level, as intra-OIC, what can we do? And we bring some policy recommendations through this economic outlook based on some of these important macro indicators. And also, as OIC has standing committees, and COMSEC, which is a standing committee for economic and commercial cooperation, is one of the main important standing committees of OIC. And each year, the foreign ministers of OIC member countries, they sit here in Istanbul because COMSEC is under the stewardship of His Excellency, the President of Republic of Turkey. And from this economic outlook, they also benefit a lot because it acts as a background report for them. And without going further, let me also bring us now to the major issue. We normally look at our developing or our economic strength through GDP. And we have seen that over the few years, our economy is also growing, but we had a problem of COVID-19, and this affected most of the global economy, including our member countries. So after COVID, all our member countries, at least they bounced back, they recovered with the growth of their GDP. But as of 2023, our economy has grown by around 3.3%. This is close to global average, which is also 3.3%. As we can see, in 2020, I think this one has been blocked for you from this side here. I cannot do anything to change it, but we can see the OIS average on the other side there. During the COVID-19, our GDP growth declined by -4, but now we have bounced back, though we are below the OIC long-term average, which is 4.3%. Also going further, when we look at our share, because we try also to look at these countries here. Globally, there are more than 190 countries when we are trying to combine the GDP. So for our 57 member countries, what is our total GDP? And what is our share in the global world? Over the years, our share in the world has been increasing. As of 2023, our share in global GDP has reached is 15% for 57 member countries. Though I was mentioned before that we have some potential. So it means this potential here, we are not putting it into better practice. As it was said before, we are not working hard, though we are talking about Islamic economics and finance. We are not putting it into better practice to improve our economy. So by that, we also projected that by 2024, our share in the global GDP will increase to 15.1%. But we also saw that in our member countries, there are countries where the economies are growing fast. One of them is Guyana, Libya, and Tajikistan, among others. Also, when we look at our member countries, we have countries like Indonesia. Indonesia is one of our countries with the largest economy. Accounting, at least Indonesia has like 1.4 trillion of GDP, which is the highest in OIS member countries. This followed by Turkey and Saudi Arabia. These three countries alone, they account for more than 40% of OIC GDP. And when we look at OIC, also GDP per capita, when we look at GDP per capita, our countries are not homogeneous, they are heterogeneous. Like, if you look at a country like Qatar, the GDP per capita in Qatar is around 68,000 US dollar. And countries like Afghanistan and Yemen, the GDP just varies from 350 to 400. And it means we still have a bigger gap when it comes to our economic levels. We are not uniformly developed. So because of that, our GDP in OIC member countries is below. It is GDP per capita in OIC as of 2023 is 4,571. And when you compare this one at the global level, it is 13,000. So it means we still lag behind all the other country groupings. So as we talk of being a Muslim majority organization, we still lag behind in a lot of issues. One important of it is our GDP per capita. When we work hard, this one means that we need to improve our economy, and by this we shall also try to improve our GDP per capita, and we shall be growing. But this does not mean that we are not doing anything. We have been developing persistently. As compared to 2021, we increased by 14% to 2023. And if you take using we measure GDP using PPP, and we also increased by 6.7% over the years. So while looking at also trade, as I mentioned before, we trade amongst ourselves and also with other non-OIS member countries. Trade in OIS member countries has been growing. As of 2023, our trade increased as total global merchandise traded or exported. We account for around 10.6% as in OIS member countries, though this one has been a decline from 11.3%. And this decline alone accounted for around 30 billion in OIS member countries, but it wasn't only in OIS member countries, also global there was a decline of 5.1%. So when we also look at service sector and what we export in OIS member countries, though our service sector, those ones we're exporting is growing, we still have a limited growth in limited development in our service exports, because as you can see, we only account for around 630 billion as of 2023, and globally, though we only account for 8.1% of global service exports. Our exports, which we only carry in OIS member countries, there are only countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Turkey. So it means most of our countries, we still have a big problem when it comes to exporting our services. We import a lot, and because of this, we can look at this also at intra-OIC. Between OIS member countries, we do trade a lot. So As of 23, we reached around 453 billion worth of exports within OIS member countries. And this intra-OIC trading in merchandise and services has been growing, and as of 2023, it has reached 19.4%. The major players are Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Turkey. These are the countries and others leading in trading within OIS member countries in both services and also in merchandise. So what does this entail when it comes to looking at, because when you do something in physics, we always say action and reaction are equal, but they go in opposite directions. So when we trade, do we have something at the end? So as we can see here, our trade in merchandise is indicating positive. These blue lines here, they are in positive, and we had a balance of 91 billion as of 2023. Though our trade balances in services is decreasing, it's in negative, but this does not mean that we are not doing well. These negatives, they are ever, from 2021, they had also coming up. As of 2022, we had 44, a negative 44, and now we have a negative 33 as of 2023. So it means we are improving in service sector, though it is still reading negative balances. So what happens in our current account balances? Our current account balance, when we're comparing these two, we have a balance of 45, or we have a balance of 134 as of 2023, and this accounts for 1.5% of our total GDP in OIS member countries. So, also when we look at foreign direct investments, flows in OIS member countries, as of 2023, we had 150 billion, and also this accounts for 11.3% of total global FDI inflows. But our stocks, as you can see, when we look at FDI stocks in a global level, we only have 2.4% of this in the world, and it means FDIs in OIS member countries is very low. And without wasting time, let me look at some of the problems we have. We have also inflation in OIS member countries. As you can see, as 57 member countries, we have high rate of inflation, around 17.3%, and this is above all other income country groups. Also, unemployment, we have higher unemployment in OIS member countries as compared to other country groups. We have also, this accounts for 5.7%, and this is highest. As I mentioned before, we have a youthful population. Our youth population, the unemployment rate at youth is around 12.8%, and this is also high when we compare with the world. So it means most of our youth in OIS member countries, they are unemployed. Also, let me mention about the things which are holding us behind. This includes geopolitical tensions. Most of our member countries, they are in war. We have a lot of conflicts, and this derails us from trading and doing most of the economic activities which are to improve our economies. And also persistently high inflations and rising government debt and fiscal tightening. And what we are doing at the moment is that we are encouraging economic interest and build relations between ourselves to trade more, to improve our economic outlook, and also foster collaborations. At OIS level, we have a OIC strategic program of action, and this program has been running from 2016 to 2025, and currently we're also developing another one, which will go from 2025 to 2035, and this is a 10-year program. So, as also OIS member countries, we have main OIS institutions like Islamic Development Bank, the COMSEC, CESRIC. We carry out more activities to make sure that we improve the capacities or finance other activities in our member countries to improve our economy, our economic outlook for our member countries. And without wasting time, this brings us to the end of my presentation. I thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this enlightens you with whatever is happening in OIS member country. I'm sorry we are time lag, and we are being listening to a long presentation. I do not want to bother us a lot. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank Muzamil for his enlightening presentation, and I would like to invite now the Vice President of Jahanuma, Sayın Ayub Balta, to present him with the gift.